Welcome to our Digital Features editorially demonstration recording from March 20th, 2025.
Claire is doing the demonstration on the new editorially accessibility checker that has been released to all roles. So I will go ahead and let Claire take it away.
Perfect. Thanks, Shireen. Okay, I'll just share my screen. Make sure it's the right one. Okay, is everyone seeing the website?
I see it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Awesome. Okay, hello everyone. I'm so excited to join some DX people. Normally I'm popping in on the marketing platform calls, so it's nice to see a new group of people. So yeah, I'm going to be just sharing a little bit about the editorially module, which I believe just went live for a bunch of different user roles. So hopefully you can learn a little something, or if you have any questions, hopefully I can answer them for you. Awesome. Okay, so I'm just going to jump in. So editorially is basically like an accessibility spell checker, or like a Grammarly if you're familiar with that. So it is meant to show you any issues with accessibility that are in your content. So hopefully it avoids any accessibility issues that are appearing in the code base, because that's on Lullabot to fix. But if you are introducing any accessibility issues in your content, then hopefully this module will flag that for you and tell you how to fix it. So it's kind of used in conjunction with a few other accessibility scanners like the Wave Chrome extension, or Dubbot, or Google Lighthouse, or things like that. It's a nice extra tool to have. So I'm looking at a page right now that I've created for this demo. There are a lot of issues on this page, but you'll notice that there's no like pop-ups or flags or anything indicating that there are issues, because I'm logged out at the moment. So this is purely a logged in tool. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. I'll log in as an agency manager. And right away, you can see an issue. So this is one of those pesky little issues that is actually a code issue. So this isn't an issue with content. You will notice that occasionally it will flag issues with code that you don't have the ability to fix as an editor. So if you do see that, then it's a good opportunity to use this feature where you can hide an issue. So if you've looked into it and you think, okay, this isn't a content issue, I can't fix it, then the thing to do would be to mark it as checked and okay. And as I hover, you'll notice that it says it hides this alert for all editors. So if I click that, then all of a sudden down here, the little eye pops up where this editorially widget is. And that basically just allows you to see things that you've hidden. So I can show that again. And if I want that to pop up as a warning again, then I can just restore it. And for all users, it will show up as an issue again. So just to kind of show that in practice, I will log out. And I'm going to log in as an editor now. So I'm going to use a different account. Oh, that's funny. It does show. Okay, so I am going to end up, I've just created a ticket for this for our team at Lullabot to fix this issue so that it doesn't pop up, just because it's annoying when you first log in to see an issue right away. So I will be fixing that one. Okay, so I'm going to go back to our page. And if anyone has questions along the way, please feel free to ask in the chat, or just turn on your mic and I'm happy to answer questions as we go. So straight away, I can see there's 13 issues on this page. So I'll just kind of go through what the issues are and how we can fix them. So occasionally you'll see this either shows up in red or in yellow. And I've got a few yellow ones here, and then I've got a few red ones here. So the red ones actually can't be dismissed because they are like serious issues. They're considered serious issues that you should fix. Whereas the yellow ones, they could be looked into. Maybe they aren't actually an issue. So you do have the ability to ignore those ones if you've looked into it and it's not an issue. but the red ones should be fixed. So sometimes if there is a red one on the page, this whole widget will appear red. But if there are no red issues on the page, then it might just show yellow or blue. So I'm just going to go through a few of them. So the little buttons down here, if I want to hide all of the question marks that are showing up on my page, I can hit this little button here and it just hides everything. Sometimes they can be a bit annoying, especially if you've got a bunch on the page. So it might be useful to hide those. That's not the same as dismissing them though. So they will continue to appear every time you reload the page. And then this button right here just basically brings you to the next issue in line. So I can use these arrows to click through all of the issues on the page. Kind of helpful to navigate between them all if you're not seeing them right away. And then this button here, this is a cool one. It shows you all of the, here, I'm just gonna dismiss that one for now. It shows you all of the alt text and the headings on the page. So I'm sure you're all familiar with alt text, but it's basically just like a little description on the image for screen reader users, so that, because if they can't see the image, then they can get a little description of the image so that they're not missing out on any content on the page.
Oh, Claire, I had a question about that one.
Sure.
I know that recently the word decorative was able to be put into the image. Could you show how that works now? Because I saw some images that I had that was like labeled decorative, but it still showed like that exclamation point. So I wanted to see if there is a new process on how we add the alt text decorative.
Sure. Okay. Let me see, because I didn't implement that feature. So let me make sure that I can answer that. So the way that I would do it, I'm going to edit the page. This is a basic page. I'm going to scroll down to that image. And if I click on it, if I click on this little eye that shows up, override media image alternative, and I can see the decorative image toggle. I'm going to just hopped around on me. I'm going to click that on and a check mark. Okay, that has now turned, it's not a red issue anymore, but it's a yellow issue, which is nice because it means we can dismiss it. So it is still going to show, it's going to say, are you sure that this is a decorative image? Because we want to make sure that we're not hiding images that shouldn't be hidden. And then you could then go and mark that as okay. Let's just save that and see. Scroll down here. Okay, so now I can see it's no longer a red one, and this is just saying you need to do a manual check here. So unless it is purely decorative, which it is, then we can either ignore it for every user, or we can ignore it for myself. So that is up to you. If it is truly a decorative image, then I would probably ignore it for everyone. And you can see it went down from 13 to 12 now.
Awesome. Then for like listing pages that have like a featured image, will it also show that error message? And then if it does, I know that since featured images aren't like embedded on the page, what would be the process of fixing that?
Great question.
Yeah.
Let me see. Okay, I'm just going to log in as an agency manager so I can see
Okay.
more things. Okay, so let's look at a listing page. Let's just pick a random one. I'm assuming you're all familiar with the Ministry of Magic site. I'm sure that's popped up a little bit, but this is just our test site. A bunch of silly content. Okay, let me just add an image. I'll choose this one that's already in the library. Save that. Okay. It's showing me that red one again because I purposefully made the alt text bad. So I'm going to now open up I want to edit the alt text globally for that image. So I'm going into the media section. I just open that in a new tab. And oh, that's a silly scroll. That seems like a bug to me. I'm just going to click and edit that particular image. And were you saying, Shireen, that if you type decorative in here, like the...
Yeah, just like the word decorative, it's still, I noticed that on other ones, it's still like the editorially would like kind of flag it.
Okay, let's test that out. Okay, I'm just going to reload this page. Just gonna look at what the alt, actually, I'll use the editorially tool. Tell me what the alt text is. Okay, it is just reading as decorative, so I don't think that's working, but I'm not familiar with that change. So that's something I would maybe want to follow up with Javier, because he's the front-end developer on DX. I can ask about that though and get back to you. Sorry, I don't have an answer.
Oh, no, that's fine. I did actually have another question, because I know some agencies have like a lot of images on their site, so some of them might not know like the name of that specific image. Is there a way, like if they're on this page and they have like a billion images on their site, like could they like select that image and it'll show like the name of that media item, or like how would they go about finding that image if they don't know the
Great
name
question.
of it?
Great question.
Oh, perfect.
I think that might be the, oh, that's not the alt text anymore. No. Okay. Yeah, that's the name of the image. So now if I can just like highlight that and then go back in my media library. Oops, that's not media. And just search that string.
Oh, perfect.
Okay.
Yay.
Cool.
Okay. Sorry, I'm done with my questions. I was like, oh.
No worries. Okay. Anyone else have questions before I keep going? No? Cool. Okay. Alrighty, so we just took a quick look at this one. We've now renamed it the alt text decorative for this one. So this is an issue we want them to either be purely decorative and marked as decorative with that toggle that I showed earlier, or they need to have like good descriptive alt text for the image. So that's why that appears in red, because those are pretty important. These other ones that we're seeing, so this one, having all uppercase text is a bit of an issue, especially for users with like cognitive impairments, so like dyslexia and things. It can make it hard depending on what the user's needs are to read all capital letters. So we like to avoid big blocks of capital letters, and then also skipped heading levels. So this is where the this headings tool can come in handy. Just gonna collapse that one. Sometimes they can get a bit annoying. I'm just going to, there we go. Okay, so this is flagging. I've got an H1 on the page, but then it jumps to an H3, and headings need to be nested kind of in order. So after an H1, we should see an H2 or multiple H2s, but we should never skip a level. So this one should be converted to an H2. And then I think I see that elsewhere on the page. I've got an H5 in here and even an empty heading. So that's also an issue, and that's a red issue. So we definitely have to fix that one. And it's basically just a big empty space that we can delete. So that's where that heading tool can come in handy. We've got another issue here where we're not using the lists properly. So this is kind of just like I've typed in the one dot space and then, or I don't even think I included a space. That's why it didn't happen automatically. So it's not a true list, but we should convert that to a true list so that screen reader users can also understand it as a list. Otherwise, they're kind of missing that context. Okay, so I'm just going to go and edit this page and fix some issues. The other nice thing about Editorially is that these warnings will, for the most part, pop up as you're typing in here. So if you're introducing a new issue as you're typing, then it should warn you of that straight away. So I guess the first thing to do is basically, I'm not going to retype the whole heading that I had in there, but is to fix that. And we can't see the error right now about it being an H3, but I did know that this one should be an H2 because it is the first heading that appears in the body, and the first heading that appears in the body should always be an H2. This warning is just saying it's strange to have such a short block quote. So it's asking if you meant to have a heading instead. Sometimes, like if you want certain formatting, you might choose a heading versus a block quote, and it also is kind of dependent on what you're trying to communicate. So in this case, let's say we want to keep it as a block quote because it is a quote. So I'm going to ignore that one. This is another interesting case. So click here. We want to make sure we're always using descriptive text for links. So when screen reader users are navigating on a page, they have this special command that lets you pull up a list of all of the links on the page. And that can help them when they're navigating. So if they see like 5 click here links in a row, then they're going to have no context for what that is without reading like the whole paragraph that it's in. So we like to make sure we have like understandable text here that that someone would be able to understand outside of the context of the paragraph. So I might edit that. Just going to remove that for now. For a list of programs. That's a bit more descriptive of what the user will see if they click on that link. Just going to type in Google for testing. Oh, I didn't hit the check mark. That always gets me. Okay, great. So this guy was the empty heading text, so I'm just gonna delete that one. And that should disappear. This is a heading order issue. So because I have an H2 above, that means I can either use an H2 or an H3. You can always have multiple H2s on a page, so let's convert that to an H2. Let's say it's a new section. Of course, this is all like Latin nonsense, so it doesn't mean much, but okay, and then I'm going to, this one was an issue with the formatting. It's basically saying this looks like a list, but it's not actually using the proper list, numbered list thing up here, which formats it properly for screen reader users. So if I just type 1 dot space, it'll automatically convert it to that list. You'll see it's highlighted up here. So I'm gonna back that all out and make sure that it all gets formatted properly. So what's this one? Possibly redundant text in alt. So this is flagging because we have image of in our alt text, which is usually like redundant. Alt text is always describing an image. So you usually can omit things like image of or photo of or something like that. So I'll just, in this case, I would want to probably go in and fix the image in the media tab because it's a global issue, but I'll also just advertise another option here, which is overriding the alt text for this specific page, this specific instance. So just a reminder, the way that I found that was clicking on the image with the little eyeball, and I can choose some text to override. So what is this? Splash in a mug. A splash of water in a mug. Let's say that. I'm not great at writing alt text, but here we go. Okay, we'll save that, and that alert goes away. Okay, so I'm going to save the page. Oops, got some stutters. Am I missing something? Nope, I don't think so. Okay, I'm going to save that. And I'm still seeing 5 issues here. So I'm going to say, take me to the issue. Here is a case where we have an accordion and the issue is inside the accordion. So I actually editorially is smart enough to know that the issue is hidden, but not smart enough to open the accordion for us and show us the issue. So you might see that occasionally. And then here we're seeing a bunch of like bold sections that look like headings, but they're not actually labeled as headings. So it's saying maybe you want to use a heading here, because again, that can be useful markup for a screen reader user to have. Similarly, this one is the same issue. We got a bunch of things that look like headings here, but they're not marked up as headings. So maybe we want to go in and fix that. And I believe that's 5. Yeah, that's 5 issues right there. So that's the remaining issues on the page. And to do that, I would probably just highlight the name of the accordion and go in and find that accordion under my content tab. Otherwise, I think you can do it from here. Let's see. Yes, okay, so there's a little edit button here. It depends if you like to work in like the nested windows or if you like to have it on its own separate page. I usually like to have it on its own separate page. So I'm going to go to the micro content tab, search for that accordion. And I want to know what the proper heading is. So actually, I'm going to go back and view that page again. And I'm going to expand one of those and say, show me all of the headings, because I want to make sure I'm using the proper one. So here we've got an H2 and we've got an H3. So that means these ones, since they are kind of like subheadings to this H3, they should be H4s. So I'm going to convert all that bold text to H4, which is not a very exciting thing to watch, but here we are. Are there any questions while I do this? All good.
A question, kind of in regards to the same thing. With H tags, I noticed when I have a basic page with a list, I can't remember what I'm looking at my stuff right now. It is a link collection list, and it only has a link collection list. I'm getting a yellow because it's saying my heading level got skipped. So does that mean a link collection list must be an H3? But my problem is my H2 really describes the H3, if you know what I mean, or my H1, excuse me, about the structures page. So how do I, is there a way, is that, does that mean I have to have a redundant heading in there just to fulfill that need?
That might actually be a code issue. Do you happen to have a link that you can share with me?
Sure,
okay,
I sure do.
Maybe I can pull it
Yep.
up.
Let me find the chat. Yeah. There we go. I just shared it.
Awesome. Okay, so we're looking at these guys right here.
Yes. Yep. When on my page, when I'm in an admin mode, I'm getting a yellow, and yep, exactly.
Okay.
It's just telling me I skipped a heading.
Yeah, I don't have a login for this site, so I'm looking at the inspect here. I can see that it's an H3. So I know that the link collection has an option to hide your heading, which I believe is how you're getting this look, right? You're hiding the title of the link collection?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because it really would be about bridges and structures. So I could have it, but it would just be redundant in that case.
Right, yeah. Okay, so I think this is a code issue in this case. So I'll flag that with our team and let them know so that hopefully you don't see those errors anymore.
Okay, great. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Cool. Any other, oh, let me just reload this page and we can see those changes. Oh my gosh, 7 issues? Did I introduce some more? Oh, wait. This is an old version.
Yeah, you were on a draft page.
Oops. Okay, let me flip back.
Chris, hi, Chris.
Oh no. Okay, yeah. I didn't save all my changes, but I can look back
no.
and see. I can see those. These are not being flagged anymore, at least. So that's exciting. Okay. Are there any other questions? I think I covered everything with editorially. I hope you like it, and I hope you don't see a lot of issues that are code related. We're trying to fix up as many as possible. But if you do see something you can't fix, then definitely let our team know and we can clear those up.
Go ahead, Sharice.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I didn't want to like dominate.
No
And I
worries.
apologize. I did jump on just a smidgen late because I was finishing something up before this. Did anyone ask about the PDF links?
No, not
No.
yet.
Okay. So I noticed that all of them are flagged currently. Is that something that is supposed to be that way?
No, that's in the works. That's one of the things that we are working on because that is a code issue. So we've got a ticket open for that to discuss because I believe the issue that's being flagged is that they are opening in a new window, but we're not indicating to the user that they're opening in a new window. So we're working on a solution for that.
Okay,
And
wonderful.
All right.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Can you go back to the accordion list on the page on this? Is there one on this page? Okay. When you want to edit it, if you go into edit mode.
Yep. Do you want me to edit it from the basic page or from the?
No, just from that page, the page you were on.
This one.
Yep.
Okay.
And go down to where you see it. Okay. Now click on the gear.
Oh, sorry. I was premature with my click. The gear.
I found that it opens it up and you can edit it easier than trying to go and look for that.
My internet's just slow today. Oh yeah, that's great.
It was just faster to do it, in my opinion, that way.
Yeah.
That's the only way I've known how to do it. So I just thought
That's great. Yeah, thank you for showing that.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that was okay to do it that way.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's so many ways that I can't keep up anymore because then, oh yeah, so this little edit button was the way to, I don't even know if those work, to be honest. So yeah, you can either click the toggle or you can look it up.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, whichever you prefer.
I did have a question regarding the errors that Moncito shows versus the errors that editorially shows. Do you think that if there's like a difference between the two, should we focus just on what Moncito shows and then share that with the dev team, or is the dev team just kind of already built editorially to mirror what Moncito is flagging?
Yeah, so editorially doesn't show every single accessibility issue on the page. It tries to only show content related issues that you as editors have the ability to fix and that aren't code related, whereas I believe Moncito shows all of the issues. So that's where you might see some differences in errors. And I'm not sure what the process is with Moncito, but I know that our team is going through a lot of accessibility remediation tickets right now. So I'm sure, I think that that's all being tackled by our team.
Yeah, I can speak to that a little bit. I mean, that is part of what the leadership team and the project managers within Lullaby, we have a separate statement of work just to work on some of that issue with Lullaby. So if you are seeing, and there's more to come on that as well, but Moncito reporting, we're going to work with those that are false positive and also a real true code issue. So that is something we're taking very seriously. And it's just something that it's, as always, a work in progress. So you have the accessibility issues with the content and how you put it in there, but then also there is the coding as well. And we're working with both of those, and we'll just continue to be A+ students in this world. So kudos to all involved on this. So thank you.
Awesome. Woo, I'm excited. Anybody else have any other questions? Go ahead, Melissa.
Okay, I have two questions. Going back to the PDFs, you said you're putting a ticket in for that. Does that mean we should not be marking things as checked and okay at this point?
You can definitely mark them as okay to like clear the issues, because I know they can be a bit annoying, especially if you have a bunch of PDFs on the page. So you're welcome to click like ignore, mark as checked and okay, and they'll disappear. But we're aware of the problem, so as soon as we push out whatever solution it is that we have, then all of those errors should disappear completely. They won't even be under this little eyeball anymore.
Okay. And then my other question is this similar to the Acquia Moncito scan that we get every week? Is the site going to be scanned on a regular basis, or will the things that we mark as checked at one point arise again as an issue at a later time?
They should remain checked. So there's no like weekly scans or anything with Editorially. It's all just like real time. It'll show you issues as soon as they pop up. And if you mark them as checked, then it should remember that. So I'll just do a quick example of that right now. Let's say this click here one, I'll mark it as checked. And then I'll log out and look at that one as an editor under a different account. Back to that page. So now I'm not seeing click here being flagged anymore under this other account. So that should be persistent. You shouldn't have to click that button multiple times.
Okay. So if we're creating a new page, will it show us those errors in the draft stage or only after published? Okay, before?
It should, yeah, in the draft stage.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And Melissa, I would just add too, like, you know, it's going to only maybe provide you some of it. So also the Moncito is a separate check and balance too. So, I mean, they're both good resources to be completely compliant, you know. I don't mean not double work, but you'll finally recognize the same errors. Oh, that's the same one I just wiped out. You'll catch that. So I didn't want you to discount the Moncito as well, right? Because there's things that maybe this can't be picked up as well. So they're both good resources to improve your accessibility score. Mm-hmm.
Does Editorially catch broken links, or are those, we just need to check our Moncito scans for those?
He's going to be a social worker. It's a building on the 27th floor that you have like.
I believe that is a Moncito only thing. I haven't seen any broken links. Actually, I'm going to click on this link right now because it shows me a list of all of the things that Editorially checks against. I don't believe broken links is in this list. No broken links. So just Moncito for that one.
I had a question. If there's like a dashboard or anything that kind of has all of the issues listed in one place.
There is a secret dashboard. So I think this is only accessible currently for admin users. Maybe we want to expose this. I don't know. That's not up to me, but I'll show you what it looks like. And when I'm logged in as an admin, there is this extra tab here that says open site reports in a new tab. Maybe we want to expose this to agency managers, I'm not sure. But this provides you with the dashboard where you can look at all of the pages with issues or all of the issues and kind of get an overview of how your site's doing, which I think is pretty useful.
That's kind of cool. I like that. I vote not being a secret.
No, I think that's a really good point. Shireen, can you make a mental note? We could take that to the steering committee and see if that is something. Can we add that to our agenda? We'll definitely bring that up to the steering committee and see what they think. That's a good point, though.
I think the only reason we didn't allow that by default is because there's a little message in the permission settings that says like, give this to trusted roles only because it can have a security impact. I think it's only because you have the ability to see every page type in this list, which isn't a very problematic security issue, only if you are restricted in what you can see as an editor or any of the other roles.
Well, and I would say strategically, it probably only belongs to the agency manager, right? So, I mean, that's how I would propose it to the steering committee. So yeah, take that note down. We'll definitely pass that on and see what they think.
Any other questions?
You have 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm just kidding. I'm here until 2 p.m. So if you guys do have more questions, you guys can totally like pop back in if you need to. So no pressure, no pressure. If you think of something different, then you can definitely pop back in, and I'll send Claire a message on Slack and ask her directly. But if there's nothing else that you had to share, and if no one else has anything else to say, you guys are free to have time back in your day. I will be here until 2 p.m. if anything pops up and you guys need help. And I will have this recording available as well on our digital experience site. The video link, just give me a moment to download it and then to edit it and then to put it on our playlist on YouTube. So yeah, thank you so much for joining, everyone. You are free to go. I'll be here, but you're free to go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.